Well, hello, school counselors and school counselors to be. Thank you guys so much for coming to my channel, The Inspiring School Counselor. And today I'm getting ready to share with you guys how you can start a school store at your school. So I'm excited to be getting into this with you guys. Hopefully you guys are excited too. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. All right, let's get into it. So there's many steps that I had to take to just get things together before I presented the information to my administrator. So I'm going to be taking you guys step by step of the things that I have done and how it ultimately just led to me getting the yes from my administrator. So one of the things that you want to think about is just figure out, why are you starting a school store? Is there a certain area that you're trying to target, or a certain area that you're trying to improve, or are you just wanting to start a school store just to have it to be an addition to the school? So that is something that you want to keep in mind. However, I believe it is important to have a target area, or picking an area that you're wanting to improve, just because it will look really good with your school counseling program and how what you have implemented have impacted the school and have impacted the students, whether it's academically, emotionally, and behaviorally, and even socially. So that is something that you are going to want to just have in mind when you're thinking about starting a school store. It also is important that you start looking at your school data. So talking to your administrator or looking at the school website or wherever they keep the school data at, and you can find the areas that might be problem areas, and then you can see how the school store can help those areas. So like I shared in the video before, I seen where behavior was a major issue. So that, involved like office referrals, students, losing time off of recess because they didn't do what they're supposed to do. That also targeted some students not doing their homework. And so incorporating the school store and then being able to earn school cash in order to buy out the school store if they did positive things, that helped impacted those areas in a positive way. And I also was able to get some of that feedback from the teachers. One thing that I believe, especially as being a school counselor, is that you want to leave a print, some way or another, of something that you have done and that that you have impacted that school in one way, shape, or form. So if it's through doing a school store that you can show that impact in a positive way, then do it. So one thing that you're going to want to do is gather all the data that you're trying to use in order to see that visual of that target area that you're trying to improve. And you want to determine how big of a change you are wanting to see. So maybe your school had maybe 20 office referrals in one semester. And maybe you're wanting to impact that. Instead of having 20 office referrals this semester, the next semester I want to try to aim for maybe 15 office referrals written, or maybe 3 office referrals written. And so with that being said, it's important that you gather that data so that you're able to see those target areas and you're able to determine what kind of change are you wanting to see. Think about what items you are wanting to sell. Are you focusing on things like toys and different like little things like cars and bubbles and, fidget toys and different things like that? Or are you wanting to buy more of things like school supplies? Or you wanting to just have a mixture of everything? And that's something that I have in my school store, as you guys are already able to see on videos before. I have a mixture of everything because let's just face it. When you are working with kids, they're not trying to buy no piece of paper. They want the slime. They want the bubbles, the whistles, and all those different type of things. And so you want to get the kids things that is worth their while and gives them that motivation to want to work hard and do what they're supposed to do. And that takes me to one of the things that I did, and that was I asked students whenever I was doing my lessons, I would ask them, what are some things that you would want for me to buy at the school store? And some kids, they said candy, spy pens, fidget toys. And so I was able to gather all of those different things that they gave me, and I was able to go and shop for those different items. Some things I was able to get, and some things I didn't get. Especially when the kids said candy, I did not buy any candy. But if I were to do this again, I think I would incorporate maybe like some lollipops or something like that. So that is something that you can definitely do, and that's ask your students. What better people to ask than the students that are going to be working for those items? Another thing that you want to look at is what system do you want to use in order for them to earn whatever they need to earn to get things out of the school store. So are you going to use fake cash, or are you going to use like a point system? Are you going to go digital? So I know that there's things like something called like Class Dojo, where kids are able to earn points through the Class Dojo, and so they're able to go in there and see their points that they have on there. So what type of system are you going to use? I know for me, it was just easy to use fake money. For one, it just gives them that instant gratification, and it allows them to be able to touch and feel and see it. And so that's what I really liked about doing the fake cash, because I could be walking in the hallway and I can see a student doing what they're supposed to do. Hey, I want to give you $5 in cash, in school money. And instantly they're like, yeah, I got, $5 in school money, and they're able to get that instant gratification. Versus doing it digitally, they're not really able to see it as much, and so it can be easily forgotten, and it might not be that much of a motivator. Maybe you are one that is doing the digital. Let me know down in the comments below, and I would love to hear your experience with it. And the next thing is, how will you purchase the items for the school store? Are you using your personal money, or are you going to be using like school money? I know for me, my school district gives all the school counselors school counselor money that we're able to use. Are you going to look for donations and reach out to businesses for them to give donations so that you can buy things, or maybe they will purchase things for the school store? Are you going to do a fundraiser? So those are like different ways that you can buy things for your school store. It just depends on what route are you trying to go. Another thing you want to keep in mind is, what will the schedule be like for the kids in order for them to have access to the school store so that they can buy? Are you going to be coming, one day a week? Or are you going to be doing it multiple days a week? Are you going to be focusing on just one grade level per week? So I know for me, we have a total of 15 classes. 5 first graders, 5 kindergartners, 5 second graders, and we had like maybe 2 or 3 pre-K classes. And so I would try to deliver the school store to all of the kids in the school in 1 week. However, that was hectic, and so I ended up having to change my schedule. So instead, I focused on a grade level per week, and I gave a teacher a certain day that I would come to their classroom at a certain time with the school store for them to be able to buy. It basically gave each class 1 day a month to buy out of the school store, and Fridays would be like my makeup day. So any kids that was absent, if they're there Friday, I would make sure that they would get a chance to buy out of the school store. So that is something that I did. So you're going to want to think about your schedule. And it also brings me, and I didn't write this down, but it just came to me just now. You also want to think about where you're going to have the school store. So at first, the school store was going to be in my classroom, and it was going to be in my classroom closet. I had shelves and everything, and I was going to set it up, on the shelves. But when I did the vote, a lot of the teachers wanted it to be on the rolly cart, and so majority won, and so I was able to get a rolly cart, and I was able to place everything on that rolly cart. So you want to think about where your school store is going to be at, and making sure that you have it where it's going to be accessible to the kids so that they'll be able to buy from the school store. Another thing you're going to want to think about is how you're going to introduce the school store. So I know for me, it was during the time where we were teaching like the different things that we expect for the kids to do. And so I was able to have like a mini lesson where I was able to show them the different items that was going to be in the school store. And I was also able to talk about how they were going to earn the school cash in order to buy items out of the school store. And so I was able to do those classes. So how are you going to present the school store to your students? Also, when you're introducing the school store, are you going to make a letter, or are you going to do like a video and post it on, maybe the school website, the school social media? Or are you going to, introduce it if you're having like a parent conference night or a family engagement night? Is that when you're going to introduce the school store? So those are things that you're going to want to keep in mind. Another thing is, are you going to want student involvement? And what I mean by student involvement, are you going to have students help you with the school store? And I actually had a couple students that I pulled before to help me go to like another class and give work the school store, receiving the money, making sure that the students are getting the right money back, as well as pushing the cart to the classroom. And so I was really able to just incorporate students to help me with the school store. So is that something that you're wanting to do? Are you wanting to get faculty and staff involved? So maybe, you can get someone that can get on board with you that can open up the school store when you can't, and keep it going. So that is something that you're also going to want to keep in mind. Currently, I don't have faculty or staff that is helping me with the school store. It is just me doing it, but it is doable if you're able to just do it with just you. But if you're not and you need some help, then by all means, get a committee together. See if you can have people that would like to help you keep this school store running. And once you're able to work through all of those different things that I mentioned, and you have like a layout of, your vision of how you want it to look, then you can start to pitch it to your administrator, to your leadership team, to the faculty and staff, to the advisory team, or whoever else that needs to be involved in on that meeting. Whenever you are, speaking to them about it, you're able to give them some visuals, you're able to show them things that you've already thought about and you've already worked through. And so it just makes it easier for them to be able to see the full layout and decide whether or not that's something that they want to incorporate at the school that you're at. I know for me, when I first pitched it to my administrator, she was just like, that's a good idea. However, let's wait, because, there were just some things that was just taking place that it was just like, it's just not the right time. And then all of a sudden, it was just like, hey, let's go ahead and incorporate that school. I asked her if she wanted me to incorporate it, and then she was like, hey, let's go ahead and do it. And so I ended up incorporating the school store I believe it was February 8th. And I was just happy that I had enough in place where I was able to start it. One of the things that I would definitely recommend is try to find a survey or, put together your own school store survey that you can send out to the faculty and staff, that you can get to them at the end of the year or the end of the semester, to see how your school store has impacted the students in the school. I think that's just really good data to always make sure that you collect and that you can save, so that you can see how what you have incorporated made a difference. So that's pretty much everything that I have, and hopefully this was able to help you to know how to start a school store at your school. And if I come up with anything else, I'll probably put it down in the comments below. But if you have anything to add to this list, go ahead and put that down in the comments below, because I would like to read those things, and I know others would as well. I thank you guys so much for your time. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. All right, I'll see you next time.